Hello, good afternoon, my dear student. Today we will perform a new experiment, experiment number 7, determination of different parameters of two-port network. In last theory class, we have covered this topic. Okay, so in this lab, you will determine the values of different Z parameters. Okay, different Z parameters. So to perform this experiment, everyone use the link I am sharing with you. You just see your chat box. Okay, Divyajyoti, I have shared the link. You use this link to perform today's experiment. Experiment name is determination of different parameters of a two-port network. Today you will calculate the values of four Z parameters Z11, Z12, Z21 and Z22. So to perform this experiment, you visit to IIT KGP virtual lab site using the given link, and after that you click on the icon simulator. Okay, you will see there are total 6 icons: theory, procedure, then uh, then it is written as operating environment, simulator, quiz, reference. Among these six, you just click on the simulator icon. After clicking on the simulator icon, you will see a new screen. A new screen will appear in front of you, where you will find out two statements below the two option. You will find out two options below the statement linked to the simulator. You see that there are two options. One is click here to perform the experiment, and another one click here to study the to study proper circuit connection to perform the experiment. Okay, after visiting the virtual lab site, you just click on the simulator icon. After clicking on the simulator icon, you will find out two options just below the statement linked to the simulator. One option is click here to perform the experiment, and another option is click here to study proper circuit connection to perform the experiment. Okay, I suggest you click on the first option. Click here to perform the experiment. Click here to perform the experiment. If anyone want to see the connection, okay, the connection of this circuit, you can click on the second option. You can click on the second option, and you just try to understand the connection, proper connection of the circuit, and then you click here to perform the experiment. Or otherwise you can direct click on the first option, click here to perform the experiment. It depends on you. Now you, if you click on the first option, click here to perform the experiment, you will find out a new window where you can see the circuit diagram which is required for today's experiment. Okay, for today's experiment, after clicking on the first option, click here to perform the experiment. If you click on this option, then you will see a new screen where you will find out the circuit diagram for today's experiment, along with the instruction, which are required to connect the circuit and get the output, get the result. Okay, so first you see, you just everyone first read the procedure section carefully, step by step. First step is enter the supply voltage and frequency. Step 1, enter the supply voltage and frequency. you see you see a supply voltage, an external supply voltage of 110 volt AC, 50 hertz AC signal is connected to the circuit at input port. Okay, then you see enter the parameter of N and N network and switch on the supply. You see there are two networks. There are two networks in the slide. One is M network. You see this network is actually denoted as M network. M network consists of only resistances. On the other hand, the right hand side network, that is N network, consists of inductor and capacitor. Okay, that is, this is reactive circuit, this is resistive circuit. So two types of circuit are given here. One is resistive circuit and it is denoted as M network, and another one is reactive circuit, which is denoted as N network. Okay, later on you see the steps 3. M and N network can be used as separately or in cascade. Select the desired network by choosing the corresponding tab. In next slide you will see there are 3 tab option given: M network, N network and Mn network. Among these 3 options we will choose any one of them, maybe M network or N network or their cascade connection, that is Mn network. Then you see the step 4. Under control, choose the network parameter Z, Y, age, ABCD that need to be determined in parameter select. Okay, that means there are total 4 parameter. You know, in last class I told you that you can calculate Z parameter, Y parameter, ABCD parameter, H parameter for a 2-port network. But in this experiment, your objective is to calculate the values of Z parameters only. After completing the theory part of Y and H, ABCD parameter, then you can compute it, no problem. Now you see in port select, choose input port for input port supply connected with output port open, and output port for output port supply connected with input port open. You know that to calculate the values of Z parameter Z11, Z21, Z21, we need to apply the supply voltage to the input port and output port must be open. On the other hand, if you want to calculate the value of Z22 and Z12 parameters, then you need to connect the supply voltage at the input port and open the output, connect the supply voltage to output port and open the input port. Okay, then you click on simulate uh, tab and see the voltmeter and ammeter reading and corresponding network parameters values. Now let me show you the expression of Z parameters. The expression of Z parameters. Okay, this is the circuit which is required to perform this experiment. Now you see the expression of Z parameter Z11. You know Z11 equal to V1 by I1, Z21 equal to V2 by I1 when I2 equal to 0. Case 2. Obtaining the values of Z12 and Z22. What you will do? You know that Z12 equal to V2 by I2 and Z22 equal to V2 by I2. To calculate the values of these two parameters Z22 and Z12, we need to connect the supply voltage to the output port and we need to open the input port. That means we need to make the I1 current is equal to 0. Okay, you know it, and you just see the present slide where I have given the expression of Z11 and Z12. Okay, Z12, you just read this instruction carefully. To calculate the values of Z parameter, what we will do, we have two options. Either we can apply the supply voltage to the input port of the two-port network and open the output port. That is option 1 or case 1. Another option or case 2 is we can apply the supply voltage, external supply voltage to the output port of the two-port network and make the input port open. Okay, in order to get the input current equal to 0. Okay, any doubt? Okay, no problem. Now let me show you the circuit and the steps to calculate the value of Z parameter. Okay, now everyone see the present slide. See the present slide where I have considered. You see there are three tabs: M network, N network, Mn network, and you know that M network consists of only resistance, that means it is a pure resistive network. N network consists of inductor and capacitor, that means it is a reactive network. And Mn network is a cascade connection of Mn network. You see here cascading network. This is the M network and this is the network. The combination of this cascade, the cascade connection means output of uh, first stage is connected to the input of the second stage. That means you can connect a number of network or circuit by connecting the output of first stage to the input of second stage and so on. Output of second stage connect to the input of third stage, like that. Okay, so you see this is a two-stage network. It has one resistive network. This part is a resistive network and that part is a reactive network. They are connected by cascading connection. Okay, so you can choose M network, N network by click on this option. Okay, so in this case I have considered a combined network, that is complex network, combined network of resistive and reactive network. Okay, now your objective is to calculate the value of Z11, Z21, Z21 to Z22. You see input port, for input port you can calculate Z11, Z21, and for the output port Z1 to Z22. Supply connect, output port open. Input port supply connected and output open, and for output supply connect, input port open. I already told you there are two cases, two options to calculate Z11 and Z21. You need to connect the supply voltage to the input port and you make the output port as open circuit. On the other hand, to calculate the value of Z12 and Z22, you make the you apply the supply voltage to the output port and make the input port open. Okay, they and after that you from the control section you choose the parameter select. Here you will see, if you click on this arrow sign, you will see there are four parameters given: Z parameter, Y parameter, ABCD parameter, H parameter. Among these four you just select Z parameter. Port select, you want to select either input port or output port to calculate this parameter value Z11, Z21, Z12, Z22. Now let me show you the uh, the circuit connection for calculating the values of Z11, Z21. So for calculating the value of Z11 and Z21, what we will do? We will apply the supply voltage to the input port and output port must be open. Then let me show you the circuit diagram for the first case. For the first case, to calculate the value of Z11 and Z21. Okay, Z21. Everyone select the input port from port select option. Here you will see, if you click on this arrow sign, you will get two option: input port and output port. But first you consider input port. You select input port and from parameter select option you select Z parameter. Okay, Z parameter. And one thing you remember here, that before going to calculate the values of this parameter, you must on your switch, you must connect the power supply to your circuit. You just switch on, before calculating the before performing this experiment. Everyone must click on the switch. Okay, first you on the switch, and then you select Z parameter and input port, and after that you click on the simulate button here. You click simulate button, then you will get the values of voltmeter V1 reading, and I1 ammeter reading. This is V1, this is A1, this is V2, this is A2. So therefore you will get V1 reading for this case 110 volt, and I1 reading 0.62365 ampere, and V2 voltmeter reading is 0.03364 925 volt, and I2 current is 0 because this is open. And therefore the corresponding value of Z11 is 176 and Z21 is 0.05. This is the values of Z11 and Z21. Okay, let me repeat the steps involved in this experiment. First, everyone use the link which one I have shared with you through chat box. Later on, you click on the simulator icon among 6 icons. After clicking on the simulator icon, you will see a new screen where you will find out two options just below the link, to simulator link. Two options are click here to perform the experiment, and another one know the proper connection of the circuit, to study the proper connection of the circuit. So you just click on the first option, click here to perform the experiment. You can also click on the second option to know the proper circuit connection, no problem. So if you click on the first option, click here to perform the experiment, you will see another screen or window where you will find out the circuit diagram and instruction which is required to connect the circuit component. So according to the instruction, you first connect your circuit. Connect means you first prefer the network, which network you will choose to study measure the values of Z parameter. There are three networks available. One is M network, which is purely resistive circuit. Another one is N network, which is purely reactive circuit, and another third one is a combination of these two network, M-N network, cascading connection of these two network. That is a combined circuit of resistive and reactive network, complex network you can say. Okay, then you select the parameter. From the parameter select under controls box, you will see there are two options, parameter select and port select. So from parameter select, you select the Z parameter option, and from port select, you first select the input port, and you must switch on the power supply. Okay, switch on the power supply. So you will see the values of Z11 and Z21. Okay, Z11 and Z21. If you have any confusion or if you face any difficulty to perform this experiment, you just write your confusion in your chat box. Okay, okay. Any doubt? Okay, then you after after obtaining the values of Z11 and Z21, you just change the port select option. You just change output port. Now you change output port. Okay, and let me show you the circuit diagram. Everyone look at the present slide. Okay, Nivedita, got. What about other student? Write your respond. Okay, now you see I have changed the option output port. I have changed. Okay, option input port. Now it is output port, and you see the output port now supply voltage is connected to output port and input port is open, and you see the values of V2 voltmeter is 110 volt and I2 current is 116.854 ampere and this I1 is 0, and for input port you see I2 is 0. Okay, and you know, and its corresponding value of Z12 is 0.05 and Z22 is 0.94. Okay, 0.94. Origin got values for input port and output. Now what we will do? Okay, uh, Origin, you got the values. Okay, now Shaivar has also got. Now I suggest you change the values of resistance and capacitance and inductance. You change the values of circuit element, resistance, capacitance, inductance. Okay, as you wish, you change it and you calculate the corresponding values of z parameter. I mean z11, z12, z21, z22. So you take at least 4 or 5 5 set. I mean you take at least 4 and 5 set of readings by changing the values of circuit elements, resistance, capacitance and inductance. You change it yourself and you take at least 5 set of readings for Z parameters. Okay. Uh, a screenshot you can take, no problem, but in result section, I mean in your lab record, uh, you must give a table corresponding to different set of readings of Z parameters. Okay, for example, first set you have chosen the values of R1, R2, R3, C1, C2, L1 or L2, etc. You just mention those values of the circuit parameter, then you just write the values of Z parameter. In next set you just write the values of circuit elements. Maybe those values will be different from the first set of reading, and then you give a table like this. You give at least 4 or 5 table for Z parameters, and you must also give the values of circuit elements. Okay, Arjit, and everyone must do it. In your lab record, you must highlight the values of Z parameter for at least 4 or 5 set of readings. Okay, you just change the values of resistance, capacitance, inductance. You choose 5 set of values of capacitance, inductance, resistance, and you must mention their corresponding values of Z parameters. Now you tell me, is the given circuit is the given circuit a symmetric circuit or asymmetric circuit? Whether the given circuit is a symmetric circuit or not symmetric circuit. In last theory class, told you that I told you the condition for symmetricity of a two-port network. I told you in last class the condition for symmetricity of a two-port network. When a network, two-port network is said to be symmetrical network. Can anyone tell me the condition for symmetricity of a two-port network? Anyone can tell me the condition for symmetricity of a two-port network? By observing, I, I am giving you a hint. By observing the values of Z parameter, what will be your conclusion? You just tell me the values of Z11, Z12, Z21, Z22. You see the values of Z12 and Z21 are same for this network. For this cascading network, the values of Z12 and Z21 same. Therefore, this network is a symmetrical network. You know, a network is said to be symmetrical. Sorry, no. This is not a symmetrical network. If it is input is equal to output, right. Nivedita, you are correct. You are correct. This is not a symmetrical network. Okay. Symmetrical network input impedance must be same as output impedance. Okay. Now input impedance must be same as output impedance for a symmetric. Therefore, this network is not a symmetrical network because you say Z11 equal to 176 and Z22 equal to 0.94. However, Z21 and Z12 are same. Now you tell me what is the unit of this parameter? Unit of this parameter. Can anyone tell me the unit of these parameters? The unit of this parameter is ohms because these parameters is the ratio of voltage and current. Ohm. Thank you, Nivedita. Your answer is correct. Other student, please respond to my question. Okay. Now you tell me the values of Z11, Z21, Z22, Z12 for other values of resistance. You can change the value of resistance. Okay, by 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 uh, this arrow here. You can see an arrow. You see the R1. This value is very. You can change. Okay, the R2. This arrow means R1, R2 arrow. You can change the value of R1, R2 by changing the position of this arrow. By changing the position of this arrow. If you this is 200 ohm. If you consider the n, then it will be greater, more value, higher value. Okay. So everyone change the values of R1, R2, R3, R6, R4, R5, C1, L1, L2 and calculate the corresponding Z parameter values. Calculate the corresponding Z parameter values. Okay. In your lab record, you must mention at least 4 readings of Z parameter for different values of circuit elements. For different values of circuit element, at least 4. If anyone mention only 3 set of readings, he or she will get less mark compared to others who will mention 4 set of readings or 5 set of readings. At least you give 4 set of readings for Z parameters by changing the values of circuit elements. Okay, by changing the values of circuit elements. Okay. If anyone face any difficulty to perform this experiment, you write in your chat box. What about Dibbojyoti? What about Dibbojyoti Roy? Have you got the result? Saiva got, Arijit, Nivedita, and other student. Please write the result. I mean, if you face any problem or if you got the result, you just write here that I got or I obtained the result. You just write. Okay. So this is similarly you can calculate the values of other parameters for this network. Okay, other values of other parameter, for example, Y parameter or open circuit, short circuit admittance parameter, then H parameter, high bit parameter, ABCD parameter. You can calculate by changing the parameter option. Instead of Z, you can choose H, Y, ABCD, and you will get the result corresponding values of parameters. Okay, parameters. Now if you already uh, completed completed experiment for combined circuit, I mean cascade circuit, you can consider only single circuit. In the observation table, what to include? Z1 to Z11, Z2, Z22, and what more? You Z1 to Z11, Z21, Z22, and also the values of circuit element, and also the values of circuit elements. Okay, elements means values of circuit elements, including register value, resistors, capacitor, and inductors. Okay, there are resistor value, capacitor value, and inductor value. Okay, in this case you see the values of R1 is 100 ohm, R2 is 200 ohm, R3 100 ohm, R4 150, R6 100, R5 200. C1 0.001 farad, L2 0.002 Henry, L1 0.001 Henry. So you must mention the values of circuit elements along with the parameter values. Okay, and you change the values of resistor, capacitor, inductor, and you calculate the corresponding Z parameter values, and you take at least 4 set of readings for Z parameters for different values of circuit element. Arijit, okay. After completing the given experiment cascade connection, you can perform the same experiment for a single uh, circuit, N network or M network, Okay, first everyone complete the given experiment, that is determine the values of Z parameter for a combined circuit of a resistive network and a reactive network. Okay, cascading network. First you calculate the values of Z parameter for this combined circuit. Then you calculate the values of single network, M network or N network. But in your lab record, you must mention the values of Z parameter for combined network. In this experiment, we will calculate only the Z parameter, not the Y, H or B. Yes, you only calculate the Z parameter. No need to calculate Y, H or B. Okay, everyone only calculate the value of Z parameter. Only calculate only the values of Z parameter. No need to calculate or measure the values of Y, Z, H. Calculate only the values of Z parameters. Okay, only the values of Z parameters. No need to calculate the values of other parameter. So let me tell you the the steps to write your lab record. First, you write the title of this experiment, determination of Z parameters of a two-port network. Everyone carefully listen. First, you write the title or name of the experiment. The name of the experiment will be determination of Z parameters of a two-port network. Then you mention the date of this experiment and you must write the experiment number. This is the experiment number 7. Experiment number, experiment name, date. Then you write the theory part in brief theory part. Then you write the required components. For this case, required components are resistor, capacitor, inductor. Okay, voltmeter, ammeter. Okay, voltmeter, ammeter, resistor, capacitor, inductor. Then you write the procedure or method part. In method part, you write the steps. The steps are given in procedure section, and you also highlight the figure, the circuit diagram. I mean the circuit diagram for this experiment. Then you write the result section. In result section, you must mention the values of circuit elements including resistor, capacitor, inductor, and you give table for Z parameters. And you mention at least 5 table for Z parameters for different values of circuit element. And finally, you write your conclusion. You write your conclusion or inferences about this experiment. Okay, your actually observation, or if you face any problem, okay, you just write how to you overcome that problem. How do you overcome that problem? You write it in conclusion part. Okay, uh, in how many student get the result, or is it Nivedita? What about others? Other students are silent as usual. What about others? Others are always silent as usual. Write your response, write your result. Otherwise, it is difficult for me to understand how many students get the result. If you face any difficulty to perform this experiment, you write in your chat box. I will help you. The units of Z parameter is Saiva God. Okay, thank you. Is ohm. So everyone must mention the unit of Z parameters: voltmeter reading, ammeter reading, resistor, capacitor, inductor. Everyone must mention or give the unit of this parameters, okay, of this element and also parameter. Any doubt, any confusion, any difficulty? Z parameter is also known as impedance parameter or open circuit impedance parameter. You see, you can okay, you can see that to calculate the values of Z11 and Z21, we make the output port as open circuit. On the other hand, to calculate the values of Z22 and Z12, we make the input port as open circuit. Okay, so that's why these parameters are also known as, or this Z parameter is known as open circuit parameter. Open circuit parameter. Okay, why this parameter is called open circuit parameter? Okay, because we consider either input port or output port as open circuit to calculate the values of individual Z parameters, Z11, Z21, Z22 and Z12. Okay, among these two are driving point impedance Z11 and Z22, and another two are transfer impedance. One is forward transfer impedance, that is Z21, and another one Z12 is transfer impedance. Okay, sorry, reverse transfer impedance. Forward transfer impedance, reverse transfer impedance. Z11 is input port driving point impedance, Z22 is output port driving point impedance. Okay, driving point impedance. The such type of network is generally used to design filter, matching network, transformer or transmission line. Okay, the application of two-port network are transmission line, matching network, filter and transformer. Okay, transformer. So you must read it. And another thing you will see that in this case we have considered a AC input. We have considered an AC input. The supply voltage, the voltage of the AC input is 100. How much? 100 volt, and its frequency is 50, 110 volt. 110 volt and frequency is 50 hertz. Frequency is 50 hertz. Okay, okay, and you can perform this experiment for single network, either M network or N network, that is one stage network. One stage network, M network or N network, purely resistive network or purely reactive network. Reactive network. Okay, uh, any doubt? Okay, I hope everyone understood the today's experiment, and you can implement your theoretical concept for this experiment. Whatever you have learned in your theory class, you can easily visualize or you can implement those concepts in this experiment. Okay, in this experiment, how do you calculate values of Z11, how do you open the output circuit, how do you supply the power to the input circuit. So in this context, I suggest all of you, you must read the you must click on the second option and see the connection and also the steps. Okay, also the associated steps of this circuit. Okay, you just read it yourself. Okay, thank you everyone. I hope everyone understood this experiment? If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Okay, you can ask me. Okay, okay, let me, any difficulty, any doubt, any confusion, anyone has any difficulty to perform this experiment, uh, or you have any doubt about the theory part? Okay, 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 I hope you have no doubt. Okay, let me stop here today's lecture. Thank you everyone.